Los Angeles, January 2013. A young Canadian woman checks into the Cecil Hotel. Within weeks, guests begin complaining about foul-tasting water, only for staff to discover a horrifying discovery that will shock the world for years to come. This is the case of Elisa Lam and the dark shadow of the Cecil Hotel. The Cecil Hotel had a grim reputation long before Elisa Lam arrived, playing house to many killers and victims throughout the years. The hotel was notoriously known for being constantly linked with death and crime. Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker, was a resident of the Cecil during the 1980s. He is notoriously known for being convicted of 13 murders across the US. Another resident was the Austrian serial killer Jack Unterweger, who was a journalist and stayed at the hotel during his killing spree. Among the serial killers that stayed, there were many victims linked to the hotel. So many deaths took place inside its walls, it was nicknamed the Suicide. These victims included Goldie Osgood, a retired telemarketer who was found murdered in her room, a case that would never be solved. Percy Ormond Cook, an early suicide in the hotel's history, Grace E. Margot, who jumped to her death from the 9th floor. Another case worth mentioning is the horrific incident of 1962 when Pauline Otten leapt to her death and landed on a passerby, George Giannini, killing them both. 26th of January, 2013, Elisa Lam checks into the Cecil Hotel. During her stay, she was placed in a hostel-style room and shared roommates. On the 31st of January, 2013, Elisa is moved to a private room after complaints from her roommates were brought up of her odd behavior. The hotel manager, Amy Price, mentioned Elisa left notes for her roommates that read, "Go away" and "Go home," and even demanded passwords to enter the room. On the same day, hotel staff reportedly see her for the last time. Elisa's parents in Canada grow concerned when she fails to call home, something she normally did daily. What's more is she was scheduled to check out of the hotel and travel to Santa Cruz. Later, LAPD released elevator surveillance footage showing Elisa Lam, which we now know as the last time she was ever seen. In the video, she is acting erratically, almost as if she's being followed or talking to someone. She is seen exiting the elevator and re-entering. She continues doing this for 3 minutes before disappearing for the next coming days. On the 8th of February, an official missing persons report is filed. During the following days, guests begin complaining about weak water pressure, with a British couple reporting black water which tasted funny, sweetie, disgusting. At 10 a.m. on the 19th of February, maintenance worker Santiago Lopez investigates the water tanks on the rooftop of the building. Inside one of them, he finds Elisa Lam's body. She is naked and her clothes are floating beside her. Lopez states the hatch of the water tank was open when he found her. What's more strange is the only access to the rooftop was a locked door on the 14th floor, which, if forcefully opened, triggers an alarm, and a fire escape which requires leaving through a window to access it. The tanks themselves sit on an elevated platform. To reach the hatch, one would have to climb a ladder roughly 10 feet tall and lift the hatch around 20 pounds. Lam Ho Yi was a 21-year-old Canadian student from Vancouver traveling on a solo trip along the west coast of the US. Often using Amtrak and intercity buses, she arrived in Los Angeles the same day she checked into the hotel before planning to head north to Santa Cruz. Elisa Lam was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and had previously been hospitalized. It's also noteworthy to mention she had a history of not consistently taking her medication. Elisa Lam was active on Tumblr with her blog Nouvelle Nouveau, updating regularly since 2010. She wrote candidly about her daily life, which included her struggles with mental health and her feelings of self-isolation and doubt. She also shared memes, quotes, and photography, mixing dark honesty with moments of humor and creativity. In June 2013, the investigation official ruled Elisa's death an accidental drowning with no evidence of foul play. Her toxicology report showed no illicit drugs or alcohol and very low levels of her prescribed medication, suggesting inconsistent use which could have triggered a manic or psychotic episode. To add, there was also no evidence of trauma, physical or sexual assault. The investigation concluded Elisa may have suffered a psychotic break, reached the rooftop through the fire escape, and entered the tank where she became trapped inside. Many find it difficult to believe Elisa could have climbed into the tank in her condition, with some pointing to the fact that she was nude and the disturbing possibility her clothes were removed after death. The autopsy's clarity was also limited due to decomposition of the body. What's more is the surveillance footage showing Elisa Lam acting strange had a blurred timestamp, as you can see in the video, fueling speculation it was tampered with. Detectives later said that the blur may have been to conceal the time of day, and Amy Price, who was the hotel manager, added by denying any alterations. The strangest of all was that Elisa Lam's phone was never recovered, and her Tumblr continued to update for months after her death, leading some to suspect foul play by hotel staff or someone who was familiar with the building. Some argue Elisa's behavior in the elevator was a struggle with something unseen. A popular theory links her to the Korean elevator game, a ritual believed to open doors to another dimension. In the theory, they believe Elisa failed, which caused her death. Others point to a coincidence of tuberculosis test outbreak near the hotel at the time, which was named Lam Elisa, fueling online conspiracies. Elisa Lam's story is more than a mystery. It's the intersection of mental illness, urban legend, and the scary history of a building, whether a tragic accident or something more sinister. Her final moments in that elevator will never be forgotten.